So I am here looking my absolute finest today in order to introduce you to henna hair dye. But first, let's go chat just a little bit about some of the dangers of chemical hair dyes and some of the awesome benefits of henna. Being careful of what you put on your body is just as important as watching what you put in it, and that includes what we put on our hair. While the results of studies are varied on whether chemical hair dyes actually cause cancer or not, the one thing that studies have shown is that most of the chemicals used in these hair dyes are not good for you, and that they are definitely absorbed into the bloodstream. Many of these chemicals have been labeled as being carcinogenic, which means cancer-causing, and their dangers can be increased upon interaction with other chemicals, which are also often found in hair dyes. The side effects of these chemicals are not just limited to cancer either. The range of side effects to these chemicals include things such as allergic reactions, brittle hair, lung irritation, immune system problems, neurological problems, and endocrine disruptors. The risk increases with how often you dye your hair, but knowing that these are real problems associated with these chemicals should make us think twice about whether that color change is worth the risk or not. So I've never really been someone to dye my hair, as it's just never really interested me before, but about a year and a half ago, I was forced to look into natural hair dyes. We were shooting our third feature film, and my daughter was going to play the younger version of the actress in our movie, and her hair was significantly lighter than the actress's. I really didn't want to put her through chemical hair dyes, so I started looking into henna. I decided to try it on myself first, and I was really surprised at how well it went. My hair turned a really pretty dark brown color. It was super soft and felt really nourished, and so I was really pleased with the results. So we ordered dark brown for my daughter, and in a little bit of a twist, my husband wanted me to play a really small character in the movie that he wanted to be really quirky and bold looking, so I ordered a wine red color for my own hair. The hair dye on my daughter turned out really great. The hair dye on myself, it turned out really great too, except the color was just a little bit shocking to my naturally conservative self. The color probably would look gorgeous on a lot of ladies, but it was a little bit bold for me. So one of the second great things I learned about henna was that not only is it nourishing and soft, but it can be dyed back over after a few days if you don't like the color. So I actually dyed back over it with a brownish red, and then I was really pleased with the color. It was still red, so it was not my natural color, but it wasn't quite as shocking of an orange. So it worked so well, and because of that, I learned a lot about henna, and let me share a few of the things that I learned about it. Henna is a natural herb that is super nourishing to the hair. It contains minerals, proteins, and vitamin E that actually work to support hair health, repair damage, condition the hair, regulate oil secretions, and support a healthy scalp. Now, a few negative things about henna are that you can't go lighter. Turning dark hair into blonde requires bleaching, and henna does not do that. It is a permanent dye, so it is difficult to remove, just like chemical dyes are. It can sometimes dye unevenly depending on the health of your hair, or it might come out lighter than you had hoped, but again, you can just do it again after a day or two, and this can help make the color richer and even it out as well. So now that you know the pros and cons of henna, I wanted to show you all how it works by dyeing my own hair. So here we go. Alright, so here we are ready to dye my hair, and we've gathered all our ingredients and everything that we need. And so the very first thing you want to do is wash your hair. So you want to shampoo it, you want to get all the oils out of your hair as much as you can. Do not condition it because you want it free of the conditioner and oils. So then you want to try and protect your skin because henna can dye your skin. So you want to especially watch for the skin that's like around the hairline. And the best way to do that is to cover it with coconut oil. So I'm just gonna spread some coconut oil kind of thick around those areas. So I like to do it while my towel is still on because I really don't want to get it on my hair because I want my hair to soak in the dye. So next you just want to mix your henna dye up so it's all ready to go. They say one packet does about shoulder length hair, so since mine's a lot shorter, I'm gonna start with half a packet and then I can add to it if I need to, or I have an extra half a packet for another time or to deepen the color if I want it darker than what it turns out. So you just dump it in and then you just mix it up with warm tap water. You want to mix it until it's kind of the consistency of like a thick pudding. You want it to soak in, but you don't want it to be too thick or too runny. So just add water just a little bit at a time so that you don't get it too thin. So there, that looks just about right. So it's still pretty thick. It's not too chunky and it's not gonna run down my face because it's too thin. You do want to cover your hands with gloves so that you don't come out with orange or black hands. And then basically you just brush it on. I always just start by parting it right at the top. And you're just gonna use that brush to get it down deep. You really wanna soak it all the way to the roots. And then you just kind of keep doing that and keep parting different sections until it's completely covered. One of the complaints that I saw when I first researched it was that people were complaining that it was really messy. I think the biggest thing is making sure that you have the texture right when you mix it, because if it's runny, then it is extra messy because it'll run down everywhere and drip all over the floor. If you have it thick enough so that it's like a nice paste, then I don't really notice it being that messy. I mean, obviously it's messy in your hair, and when you rinse it off, it can get kind of messy, but it's not bad. Keep in mind that henna itself only dyes your hair red. So henna mixed with other herbs and plants can give you the different colors, but you still want to look to make sure you're getting something that is completely pure and natural, because sometimes something will be passed as a henna dye, but it will have other chemicals in it. For example, this one, it doesn't have any of the nasty chemicals, but it does have henna and indigo in order to give it that black color. So still make sure that you look for really pure henna dyes, even when they have additional herbal ingredients in them. So the thing about chemical hair dyes is that they actually go into your hair and they actually destroy the protein in your hair and replace it with their own color, which is why chemically dyed hair can be brittle and not healthy looking. Henna is amazing because it binds to the proteins and helps to nourish them and dyes it that way. And so it helps to repair your hair, it helps to keep it healthy, it helps to condition and nourish it. And so it does so many great things while also giving you the fun perk of trying out new colors. So once I'm sure I've got it all through the roots, I just take my hands and I just run it through all the ends, and I just kind of work it through to make sure everything got covered. I do put it on really thick, but I like to make sure everything gets covered so that I'm sure the dye is as even as it can be. And then I don't want to waste any of it too, so if I have extra, I like to just get it all in there. So once I'm finished getting it all through, I'm just going to add my little shower cap and cover it all up. And then if you have any drips anywhere on your skin, you can take this time to wipe those off. So I cleaned off my ear a little bit and the drips on my neck to help them not die. And then you're all done. So one tip is making sure you have plenty of time set aside to do this, because it did just take me about maybe 45 minutes to do the whole process, but then you want to let it set for 1 to 2 hours. So at 1 hour, the color kind of peaks, but after 2 hours, you can get a deeper, more rich color. So I like to leave it in for 2 hours. So this is when I can do my laundry and my dishes. So you just want to let it set for that long, and then we'll come back and wash it out and see how it looks. So here we have the before, and here is the after. So it's definitely a lot darker, and it does tend to deepen over the next 48 hours. So it will probably get a little bit darker and richer in color. So to back up, after you've let it sit for the 2 hours, you are just going to shower it all off, no shampoo. You can use some conditioner to help get it out, and then blow dry it for about 10 to 15 minutes just to help the color set. You don't want to shampoo it for at least 24 hours because you don't want to wash out the color as it's setting. And you also want to avoid leave-in conditioners for about a week. A few tips that I've learned along the way: when you are ready to wash the henna out, if you can get your clothes off without taking the shower cap off, so that when you can take that off in the shower, it's a really good way to do it, because when you take that shower cap off, you might find chunks falling. So if you can do all that in the shower, it helps keep your bathroom clean. Also, it does make a mess in the shower when you're rinsing it out. It kind of goes everywhere, but it comes right off if you just make sure you rinse your shower when you're all finished. It does rub off on your hands when you're blow drying your hair. You may notice that your hand comes out orange or blue, but if you scrub it really well, it usually just comes right off. Also, you want to make sure you're using an old towel, because the color can come off, and you might use an old pillowcase for the first couple of nights, because sometimes, especially if you go to bed with wet hair, that color can just rub off for the first few nights. Another tip I learned just this time is the first couple times I did not have any problem with the henna dyeing my skin, but this time after my shower, I did notice a little bit of blue tint along my forehead. So a tip is to watch your shower cap. Make sure that it stays off of your skin as much as possible so that it's not holding the dye there. But when I got out, I did remember that sometimes if you want to lighten your shade of hair, you can rinse it in lemon juice. So I tried lemon oil on a wet cloth and just rubbed it on my forehead, and that color on my skin actually came right off. So there's just a little tidbit for you, just in case you dye your skin like I did. If you can't get the dye off your skin though, it usually does fade within a day or two. Also keep in mind that as the dye sets, it can sometimes look like it has like a little bit of a greenish or orange tint depending on the color you picked, and know that this is totally normal, and the color will set usually within 48 hours. So the two brands that I have used are Mountain Rose Herbs and Henna Color Labs, and I've been really pleased with both brands. Henna Color Labs is what I've used the most, and I love that they have no chemicals, and it's done a really great job every single time. And this is not a sponsored product review. This is just the brands that I have tried and I've really, really loved. So in conclusion, henna was really fun to try, and my hair feels great. And once I get past the fact that I can't quite recognize myself in the mirror and my kids still look at me funny, I know I will enjoy trying this new color. And I hope that this shows you how amazing henna can be to nourish your hair, and how fun it can be to try new colors while still keeping your hair and your skin healthy. So thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to keep up to date on all our wellness videos.